Topic of today's discussion is oxidative stress and antioxidants. Myself, Dr. Dipti Bandavne, working as professor, Department of Pharmacology at Progressive Education Society's Modern College of Pharmacy, Nigadi, Pune. In this topic, we are going to cover concept of oxidative stress, concept of reactive oxygen species, types of free radicals, types of antioxidants, and therapeutic implications of antioxidants. Now, what is oxidative stress? So, oxidative stress is defined as an imbalance between the generation of oxidants and antioxidant defense capacity of the body. Imbalance between cellular production of free radicals and ability of cells to defend against them comes under oxidative stress. Oxidative stress causes cell mitochondrial dysfunctions, accumulation of misfolded proteins, inflammation, defects in protein clearance, and cell death as a result of disease progression. Oxidative stress can be associated with increase in the rate of reactive oxygen species generation or decrease in the level of antioxidant defense or a combination of both. So considering this, we should see what do you mean by reactive oxygen species called as ROS. So these reactive oxygen species is a collective term used to include free radicals such as superoxide, hydroxyl, peroxyl, hydroperoxyl, as well as several non-radical oxidizing agents such as hypochlorous acid, hydrogen peroxide, ozone, etc. Basically, why there is formation of reactive oxygen species? So it should be noted that supply of oxygen in our body is absolutely essential for the existence of higher organisms. However, this oxygen under certain situations exhibit deleterious effects on the human body. Most of the potentially harmful effects of the oxygen are due to the formation and activity of number of chemical compounds called reactive oxygen species, which have a tendency to donate oxygen to other substances. Thus, these reactive oxygen species take part in huge variety of enzymatic oxidation as well as reduction reactions involved in metabolism, cell signaling, and neurotransmission. For example, the reactions of lipoxygenase and cyclooxygenases are dependent on the reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species mediated alterations include damage to cells, tissues, or organs, and they have been proposed to be major factors in causing several diseases. An important aspect of oxidative stress is generation of free radicals. So what are these free radicals? A free radical is defined as a molecule species that contains one or more unpaired electrons and is capable of independent existence. These free radicals are highly reactive molecules generated predominantly during cellular respiration and normal metabolism. As shown in the diagram, the free radicals possess an unpaired electron in the outer shell, because of which they are highly unstable. They are always in need of in search of a particular molecule or particular of tissue, whatever they get, so that they can transfer that unpaired electron to that particular molecule. So here, after transferring that unpaired electron to the tissues or molecule, that free radical gets stabilized. However, the molecule where the unpaired electron has been transferred becomes the source of damaging effect in our body. How the free radicals are produced in our body. So, the sources of free radicals can be categorized as endogenous sources, exogenous sources, and physiological sources. Endogenous sources include aerobic respiration, peroxisomes, stimulation of polymorphonuclear leukocytes, then certain subcellular organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, microsomes, peroxisomes, etc., and ischemic perfusion injury. Exogenous sources of free radicals include drugs, radiation, smoking, pesticides, inorganic particles, gases like ozone, and certain other factors like solvents, anesthetics, exhaust fumes, and aromatic hydrocarbons. Physiological sources of free radicals include stress, emotions, and disease conditions. As shown here, the different types of free radicals are enlisted, uh, starting from superoxide radical, hydroxyl radical, peroxyl radical, till hypochlorous acid. So how these different types of free radicals are produced? They are also called as reactive oxygen species. So basic reason is oxygen is required in many metabolic processes, particularly for the release of energy. During these processes, molecular oxygen is completely reduced and converted to water. That means Ideally, it should happen. However, if this reduction of oxygen is incomplete, series of reactive radicals are formed, what we have mentioned in the table. Now we will have a look at all the free radicals one by one, whatever has been shown in the table. So first is superoxide radical. It is generated continuously by several cellular processes, including the microsomal and mitochondrial electron transport system. In addition, xanthine dehydrogenase oxidase and other cellular oxidases may be important source of the molecule. It should be noted that cells of the immune system have a special role in production of superoxide anion. How? That is, they contain a membrane-bound enzyme complex, NADPH oxidase, which reduces oxygen with NADPH to produce large amount of superoxide anion. This is essential for effective bacterial killing. In our body, the universal presence of superoxide dismutase in both cytoplasm and mitochondria ensures that much of the superoxide anion is rapidly converted to hydrogen peroxide. This means that in our body, in normal situation, there is a balance of production of superoxide anion and level of superoxide dismutase, because of which the level of superoxide anion can be maintained. Characteristics of superoxide anion is, it is not a particularly reactive molecule and it can diffuse considerably to a distance from its site of production. It may combine with other reactive species such as nitric oxide to yield a more reactive species, peroxynitrite, in the presence of transition cations such as copper or iron. Superoxide anion can give rise to highly reactive hydroxyl radical species. Next free radical is hydroxyl radical. Hydroxyl radicals is formed by two ways in biologic processes. First is radiolysis of water and second, reaction of hydrogen peroxide with ferrous ion. We call it as Fenton's reaction. Hydroxyl radical is considered to be a principal factor in the toxicity of partially reduced oxygen species because it is very reactive with all kinds of biological macromolecules. This produces those products that cannot be regenerated by cell metabolism. Coming to peroxyl radicals, these are formed during the oxidation of lipids or other organic molecules in oxidative stress. They are formed by addition of oxygen to alkyl radicals. The peroxyl radical species, which are not very reactive, may diffuse considerably. Hydrogen peroxide is a non-radical molecule generated by the same sources that produce superoxide anion. Two molecules of superoxide anion disunite to form hydrogen peroxide and oxygen. This reaction is catalyzed by superoxide dismutase. There are a number of other specific enzymes also that produce hydrogen peroxide directly. Hydrogen peroxide can diffuse over considerable distance and may pass membranes readily in this process. Hydrogen peroxide and superoxide anion can occur both inside and outside the cells. Next free radical is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is an abundant reactive radical that acts as an important oxidative biological signal in large variety of diverse physiological processes that include smooth muscle relaxation, neurotransmission, and immune regulation. Nitric oxide is synthesized by nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that occurs in several different regulated forms in different cell types and is regulated by calcium and other factors. Main action of nitric oxide is the activation of soluble guanylate cyclase. Nitric oxide can also form S-nitrosothiols with protein thiol groups that impairs protein function. Nitric oxide can inhibit complex 4 of the mitochondrial respiratory chain, or it can interact with superoxide anions to form peroxynitrite, which exerts several toxic functions. As discussed earlier, the peroxynitrite, it is formed by reaction of nitric oxide and superoxide anion. Cells of the immune system produce both superoxide anions and nitric oxide during the oxidative burst triggered during inflammatory processes. Under these conditions, nitric oxide and superoxide anion may react together to produce significant amount of peroxynitrite. It is a strong oxidant that attacks protein cysteine and methionine. It can also react with protein tyrosines by adding a nitro group to the ring of these amino acids. Nitric oxide adds to thiols to form S-nitrosothiols. The peroxynitrite can inhibit all mitochondrial respiratory chain complexes. They can initiate lipid peroxidation reactions and cause apoptotic cell death signaling. Next part of our discussion is antioxidants. Antioxidants are the group of substances which, when present at low concentration in relation to oxidizable substrate, significantly inhibit or delay the oxidative processes while often being oxidized themselves. Antioxidants can be better understood by having information about their nature of reactivity with reactive oxygen species or free radicals. As shown, they scavenge the free radical. Different antioxidants act by different mechanisms. Some act by chain-breaking reactions like alpha-tocopherol. Antioxidants like glutathione peroxidase catalase, they act by reducing the concentration of reactive oxygen species. Antioxidants like superoxide dismutase act by scavenging initiating radicals. And some antioxidants act by chelating the transition metal catalysts. Example, transferrin, lactoferrin. Depending on the various aspects, antioxidants are classified in number of groups. In relation to lipid peroxidation, antioxidants are classified as preventive antioxidants and chain-breaking antioxidants. Examples are shown here. According to their location, antioxidants are classified as plasma antioxidants, cell membrane antioxidants, and intracellular antioxidants with examples. According to the nature and action, antioxidants are classified as enzymatic antioxidants and non-enzymatic antioxidants. Non-enzymatic antioxidants are further subclassified as nutrient antioxidants and metabolic antioxidants. Examples are shown here. First category of antioxidants that we are going to discuss is antioxidant enzymes. Superoxide dismutase is the example. Superoxide dismutase converts the highly reactive superoxide radical to the less reactive hydrogen peroxide, which can in turn be destroyed by glutathione peroxidase reactions. Another function of superoxide dismutase is to protect dehydratases. For example, dehydroxyacid dehydratase, aconitase, fumarase A and fumarase B. These are protected against inactivation by free radical superoxide. Superoxide dismutase catalyzes the dismutation of superoxide radical by successive oxidation and reduction of the transition metal ion at the active site. Another antioxidant enzyme is catalase that protects cells from hydrogen peroxide generated within them and plays an important role in the oxidative stress in adaptive response of cells. Catalase is a tetrameric heme enzyme that consists of 4 identical tetrahedrally arranged subunits of 60 kDa. Hydrogen peroxide is enzymatically catabolized in aerobic organisms by catalase and several peroxidase. Another antioxidant enzyme is glutathione peroxidase. It is a selenium-containing peroxidase. The glutathione peroxidase catalyzes reduction of variety of hydroperoxides using reduced glutathione and thereby protecting mammalian cells against oxidative damage. There are at least 5 glutathione peroxidase isoenzymes found in mammals. Those 5 enzymes include cytosolic glutathione peroxidase, plasma glutathione peroxidase, phospholipid hydroperoxide glutathione peroxidase, and gastrointestinal glutathione peroxidase. For proper functioning, all glutathione peroxidases require glutathione as a cofactor and secondary enzymes glutathione reductase and glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Another class of antioxidants is nutrient antioxidants, vitamin E. As an example, it is also called as tocopherol. It is a fat-soluble vitamin, and among the tocopherols, alpha-tocopherol is biologically active. Peanut oil, corn oil, sunflower oil are the good sources of vitamin E. It is present in meat, milk, butter, and eggs. It is an antioxidant present in all cellular membranes and protects them against lipid peroxidation. Alpha-tocopherol can directly act on oxyradicals and serves as an important chain-breaking antioxidant. Supplementation with vitamin C and vitamin E might be of benefit in slowing the progression of Parkinson's disease. Vitamin E intake is associated with reduced risk of angina and myocardial infarction. Several functions of vitamin E are relevant in considering its role in cancer prevention and control. Besides being a free radical scavenger, vitamin E is at high intake enhances body's immune response. It is associated with decreased cataract risk through the retardation of lens opacity. Another important nutrient antioxidant is vitamin C. It is water-soluble electron donor vitamin. Citrus fruits, amla, green vegetables like cabbage, spinach, tomatoes, potatoes are rich sources of ascorbic acid. Vitamin C efficiently scavenges free radicals and inhibits lipid peroxidation. It interacts with free radicals in the water compartment of cells as well as in the fluids between cells. It is considered to be one of the most important antioxidant in extracellular fluid. It is effective in protecting tissues against oxidative damage. It suppresses the formation of carcinogens such as nitrosamines and quinines, and therefore it may help in reducing the risk of cancer. Another nutrient antioxidant is selenium. It is an essential trace element and is proved to be a significant antioxidant. Selenium works with vitamin E in fighting the free radicals. It is also required for the proper functioning of an important antioxidant enzyme called glutathione peroxidase. Carotenoids, an important nutrient antioxidants, are the group of red, orange, and yellow pigments found in plant foods, particularly fruits and vegetables. Carrot is a rich source of carotene. Besides beta carotene, other important dietary carotenoids include alpha carotene, lycopene, lutein, and others. Beta carotene act as a precursor of vitamin A, whereas others do not. Beta carotene is an effective antioxidant as it is one of the most powerful singlet oxygen quenchers. It can dissipate the energy of singlet oxygen and prevents this active molecule from generating free radicals. Its other important antioxidant properties include scavenging of free radicals. Unlike other nutrient antioxidants, beta carotene is efficiently working at low oxygen pressure. Recent studies have confirmed that lycopene has a powerful role as an antioxidant. Epsilon, a synthetic antioxidant, is glutathione peroxidase congener showing anti-inflammatory action. The action may be because of inhibition of prostaglandins and leukotrienes. Desferrioxamine is used as ion chelator and can inhibit ion-dependent lipid peroxidation and generation of oxidative free radicals. It has been found to be useful in Alzheimer's disease and reperfusion injury. Probucol is a chain-breaking antioxidant having anti-inflammatory effect and anti-atherosclerotic effect. They inhibit lipid peroxidation and interfere with synthesis of prostaglandins and leukotrienes. Xanthine oxidase inhibitors are the synthetic antioxidants that include allopurinol and oxypurinol. Xanthine oxidase is the prime source of reactive oxygen species during reperfusion injury. The inhibitors of xanthine oxidase have been shown to protect against myocardial, cerebral, and gastrointestinal reoxygenation injury. Till now, we have completed what do you mean by free radicals, what is oxidative stress, what are antioxidants. Now we will see therapeutic implications of antioxidants. First is neurodegenerative diseases. Oxidative stress has a mechanistic role in the development of Alzheimer's dementia. Several evidences have implied that oxidative damage to lipid membranes could disrupt normal neuronal and glial cell functioning. This can lead to the formation of amyloid plaques and leads to neuronal cell death. Hence, it is found that dietary intake of antioxidants like vitamin E, vitamin C, and beta carotene might inhibit the production of free radicals and reactive oxygen species. Antioxidants are also being investigated as possible treatment line for Parkinson's disease. Second implication is cardiovascular diseases. Heart disease is the leading cause of death all over the world. While several factors like high cholesterol level, hypertension, cigarette smoking, diabetes are believed to promote atherosclerosis, it is also suggested that a critical step in the development of atherosclerosis or heart diseases is the oxidation of low-density lipoprotein within the arterial wall. Additionally, there is an inverse relationship between heart diseases and plasma antioxidant level. Antioxidants have been shown to prevent LDL oxidation in vitro and can retard the progression of atherosclerosis in animal models. It has been estimated that dietary intake of antioxidant vitamins may reduce the risk of heart disease by 20 to 30%. In diabetes mellitus, increased production of oxygen-derived free radicals and decrease in activity of free radical scavenger system have been reported. Over the past decade, there has been an increase in the level of oxidative stress and its role in the development of diabetic complications. Antioxidants, due to their ability to scavenge free radicals and inhibit lipid peroxidation, may supply endogenous defense system and reduce both the initiation and propagation of reactive oxygen species. They are therefore helpful in the management of diabetes mellitus and associated complications. Antioxidants are also found to be helpful in pulmonary disorders. The respiratory tract, because of its large surface area, is a main target for free radical attack and is also air pollution, major source of reactive oxygen species. Recent studies suggest that free radicals are involved in the development of pulmonary disorders such as asthma. Cellular damage caused by free radicals is thought to be partly responsible for bronchial inflammation. It has been suggested that increasing the antioxidant intake may help to reduce the oxidative stress and prevent or minimize the development of asthmatic symptoms. Some evidence suggests that glutathione or possibly N-acetylcysteine, a precursor to glutathione, may be helpful in protecting against pulmonary damage as well. Antioxidants can be useful in cancer therapy as adjuvant drugs. At present, a lot of metal-based drugs are widely used in treatment of cancer. The clinical success of cisplatin and other complexes is however limited and they are associated with side effects. Therefore, increasing attention has been given on designing new coordination compounds with improved pharmacological properties and having broader range of anti-tumor activities. Strategies for developing new anti-cancer agents include incorporation of carrier groups that can target tumor cells with high specificity. Also of interest is to develop the complexes that bind to DNA in a fundamentally different manner than cisplatin. This will be an attempt to overcome the resistance pathway that has evolved to eliminate the drug. Dietary chemoprevention by use of compounds like lycopene has emerged as a cost-effective approach to control most prevalent chronic diseases, including cancer. In particular, tomato is considered as having wide range of health benefits. Epidemiology studies have provided evidence that high consumption of tomatoes effectively decreases risk of ROS-mediated diseases like cancer. It is due to improvement in the antioxidant carotenoid, which is reported to be more stable and potent singlet oxygen quenching agent compared to other carotenoids. In addition to its antioxidant properties, lycopene shows biological effects including cardioprotective, anti-inflammatory, anti-mutagenic activities. The anti-cancer activity of lycopene have been demonstrated in both in vitro and in vivo tumor models. Selenium derivatives also as an cancer preventive agents. The role of selenium in the prevention of cancer has been recently established by laboratory experiments, clinical trials, and epidemiological data. Consequently, the selenium supplementation has moved from its regular use as nutritional deficiency supplementation to one of the pharmacological intervention, especially in the clinical domain of cancer, chemoprevention, and in control of heart failure. Antioxidants are found to be useful in neurological and ophthalmic disorders as they are associated with free radical involvement. Neural tissue may be particularly susceptible to oxidative damage as it receives disproportionate large percent of oxygen and has high concentration of polyunsaturated fatty acids which are highly prone to oxidation. Formation of cataracts further is believed to involve damage to lens protein by free radicals causing the lens to lose its transparency. Some evidences suggest that cataract progression might be slowed with regular consumption of supplemental antioxidants, particularly vitamin E, vitamin C, and carotenoids. Antioxidants are also helpful in acute central nervous system injury. This is because oxidative stress has been implicated in acute central nervous system injury by ischemic or hemorrhagic stroke or trauma. Free radicals can cause damage to cellular components such as lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Moreover, acute brain injury increases level of amino acids like glutamate. This can produce reactive oxygen species and promote parenchymatous destruction. Therefore, treatment with antioxidants may theoretically act on tissue damage and improve both the survival and neurological outcome. Antioxidants are highly effective in prevention of aging, and hence nowadays we can see all the cosmetic science products include antioxidants. The free radicals are harmful substances that cause damage to the skin by direct contact with ultraviolet radiation from exposure to sunlight. Free radicals cause chain reactions that lead to disruption of living cells. Logically, they speed up the visible signs of aging. Antioxidants help to prevent the unlikely effects of free radicals to skin and to the entire body. Therefore, antioxidants in food sources and skincare products could be considered essential in keeping our skin and body healthier. Hyaluronic acid combines with collagen and elastin to maintain the elasticity and smoothness of skin, which is very necessary, particularly during aging. Thus, products with these natural active ingredients could help to protect the skin against potential damages brought about by harmful UV rays and environmental pollution. Now, lipoic acid protects against aging-associated stroke, heart attack, and cataract conditions. Lipoic acid has an unusual relationship with four other important antioxidants, namely glutathione, coenzyme Q10, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Lipoic acid not only acts as a primary antioxidant in brain cells but also serves to boost glutathione levels through antioxidant network interaction. Lipoic acid in the form of gene therapy promises to be one of the most exciting and fruitful avenues of medical practice. It offers a powerful antioxidant protection against common conditions including diabetes. Exposure to oxygen and sunlight are the two main factors in the oxidation of food. So, food is preserved by keeping in the dark and sealing it in containers. However, as oxygen is also important for plant respiration, storing plant materials in anaerobic conditions produces unpleasant flavors and unpleasant colors. Consequently, packaging of fresh fruits and vegetables contains an approximately 8% oxygen atmosphere. Antioxidants are therefore important class of preservatives, and unlike bacterial or fungal spoilage, oxidation reactions still occur relatively rapidly in frozen or refrigerated food. So these preservatives include natural antioxidants such as ascorbic acid and tocopherols, as well as synthetic antioxidants such as propyl gallate, tertiary butyl hydroquinone. Since oxidized lipids are often discolored and have unpleasant taste, it is important to avoid oxidation in fat-rich foods. Even less fatty foods such as fruits are sprayed with sulfurous antioxidants prior to air drying. Antioxidant preservatives are also added to fat-based cosmetics such as lipstick and moisturizers to prevent rancidity. Antioxidants are frequently added to industrial products. A common use is as stabilizers in fuels and lubricants to prevent oxidation and use in gasolines to prevent the polymerization that leads to formation of engine fouling residues. They are widely used to prevent the oxidative degradation of polymers like rubbers, plastics, and adhesives that causes lot of strength and flexibility loss in these materials. Polymers containing double bonds in their main chains such as natural rubber and polybutadiene are particularly susceptible to oxidation and ozonolysis. This can be prevented by use of anti-ozonates. In today's session, we have seen the concept of oxidative stress, concept of free radical, what do you mean by antioxidants, what are the different types of antioxidants, and most important thing, that is therapeutic implications of various antioxidants. Thank you.